Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Slightly Eccentric Golf Show. I'm excited to have you here because we have some incredibly exciting news to tell you about. Our property borders on, there's a metal fence that borders on a church, beautiful, wonderful little church, right on our property line. And they have some exciting plans for the church. I won't tell you what they are, but they have some really exciting plans for that particular church. And there is a strip. We have a gate, a little man gate or woman gate, a person gate that you go out when we walk, and the gate is right at the end of our property, and then you enter the park. But it appears that the church owns that little patch of land. It's right on the edge of our property. So I'm thinking, I'm looking around, thinking, what could we do to inspire community involvement with our games program, whether it be golf, horseshoes, bocce ball, Microsoft Flight Simulator, whatever. What can we do to make it more exciting, make it more inclusive, and share it with people? So I thought, okay, we could put a horseshoe pit on our property, but if there was a little patch of land, and I'll tell you about it, it's about 50 feet, so what is it in meters? 60 feet is 20 meters, so 15 meters in length, about 45 feet. Yeah, about 45 feet. And then about 3 meters in width. So a horseshoe pit is about 40 feet, and this is 45 feet. So we could easily put a horseshoe pit in that area. So I got to thinking, and I put my thinking cap on, and I think, okay, I know the church, so I emailed the church, and I said to them, there's a little patch of land there, and I told them what I'd like to do. I'd like to put a community horseshoe pit in there. Would you like to have a meeting and talk about it? And they said, absolutely. And so we had a meeting, and we came together, and they really liked the idea. They loved the idea. And so they've checked into it, and indeed they do own this little patch of land that I'm talking about, and they have given us their full blessing to, in the future, put an official horseshoe put in for the entire community. Now, there's a community that lives right next to us that could use this horseshoe pit. There's us that could use this horseshoe pit, and there's the church, because it's a really active church, and it's busy night and day. And here's the really neat thing about this horseshoe pit placement. If we put a horseshoe pit anywhere on our property, when you have those, we have an original horseshoe kit, right? Like the set, the metal rods and the metal horseshoes. And they're heavy. And when you clank them against each other on that metal rod, they do make noise. So we have to be considerate of others. So I'm thinking, well, why don't we move the horseshoe pit off of our property and see if we can put it somewhere where it won't make noise. And this is perfect because it's right at the entrance to the park where it will not disturb anyone. This was just sent from above. So the grass is about, a meter high right now, and I have to go and cut it down, but I've taken pictures, and I've taken some video, and as I'm talking, I will put the picture and video up. So here's my crazy plan. If it takes 40 feet for a horseshoe pit, and we have 45, we actually have 50 feet, so we have 10 more feet, or 3 more meters than what would require a horseshoe pit. Okay, so we set up the horseshoe pit, right? And for an official horseshoe pit, you have a backing, like a wooden backing, where the horseshoes smack up against each other, and then you have sand, right? And then some kind of a side system where it holds the horseshoes when you throw it. So we could set that up, but the land is 3 meters wide, right? The little strip that I'm talking about, well, 3 meters, that's 10 feet, right? So 10 feet is more than the width that you would need for a horseshoe pit. So here's my thinking. We can combine 3 games in one. So we divide this little patch of grass. So think about a 50-foot patch, 50-foot patch by 10 foot. And so if that's 500 feet, that's quite a bit of grass. And you split it into 2, right? So 5 feet on this side, or how much? Little less than 2 meters. I don't do meters. I do the old stuff. So 2.5 meters on this side, 2.5 meters on this side, right? So we could play the horseshoe game on this side, 2.5 meters, or we could put a beautiful putting space right next to it, or we could put a beautiful bocce ball space right next to it, or in between the horseshoe pits, we could put a beautiful bocce ball court in front of it. It would be easy to do. So you could combine up the 3 games. You could have the horseshoe pit. You could have the bocce ball. Like the horseshoe pit would open and close, and then you could have the bocce ball pit in between, like where you would throw the horseshoes, right? That's easy to do. And then right next to it, you could have your golfing. We could put down like a really, you go down the Clausens, and they've got all sorts of stuff that you packed gravel and pea gravel and granite and stuff, and if some of that packs down like Navijack, and you could put that on there, and it would be a beautiful substrate to putt balls on, real golf balls or foam golf balls. See, what we want to do is we don't just want to come and say, okay, we're going to give you a game, we're going to give you a community game of horseshoes. We would like to logically think of as many games as possible that we could put in one place. So the horseshoes, the bocce ball, in between where you play the horseshoes, and the golfing would be absolutely perfect. Can you imagine? 40 feet, 50 feet. So that's how many meters? 50 feet. So if there's 3 feet in every meter and you have 50 feet, that's a good size putting course. That would be excellent. And we could design the horseshoe pit with a lid and a lock, so it folds. You see sandboxes in play areas where there's the sandbox, and then plywood lid comes up, and then the plywood lid comes down, and then you just lock it, and the sand is safe in there. So we're going to do the same thing. We would like to design a horseshoe pit that has a lid, that has the sand in it, and has the horseshoes in it, and you just pull up the metal rod when you're finished playing it and lay it in the horseshoe game, and then you close the plywood lid. We'll make it waterproof. We'll treat it with trim clad. Or here's what I was also thinking. Why don't I go down to a place like Home Depot or Revy or some place that has a horseshoe kit already assembled, and then we'll tell them what we're doing, and if they want to collaborate and come in with us and donate a horseshoe kit for both ends, we will give them a podcast show on this show. We will sponsor. Because what I want to do is I want to take pictures and videos of how we're going to put this horseshoe pit together. Very, very exciting stuff. Because this is going to be a community collaborative event. I want people to use that horseshoe pit all of the time, and the golfing and the bocce ball. It's really possible. And then when we get it going and it's really exciting people and it's playing well, we'll take pictures and videos and we'll share how we did it. Because here's what I've noticed. When you look around in Abbotsford, there's always a little patch of grass that you can use for some kind of a games area, either golf or bocce ball or horseshoes or whatever. We have cornhole toss, right? We have frisbee now. We've introduced frisbees, right, into our repertoire of games. So it's really exciting. Hang on to your hats, because when you see the transformation of this, I think you'll be really excited for the entire community. So there's 3 communities right here and one little game spot that I think we can use to inspire people to stay healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. And it's going to really serve the church, because the church has plans to grow, and we want to make sure that everybody has access to this game. Okay? This is Rick Holland for Slightly Eccentric Golf. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next show. Wait until you see the pictures from this Canada Day, upcoming Canada Day, and then the pictures of what we're going to do with that horseshoe. Horseshoe pit, you will be amazed. All right? Now, it is, what time is it? 2:35. I get to go golfing at 3. So I'm going to go watch some YouTube videos on some remote control rock crawler cars. I have a very difficult life, ladies and gentlemen. I have to tell you, I get up, and the private golf course that we have is 10 feet from my patio door. And a lot of mornings I am out there putting our 33-meter putt station at 10 o'clock in the morning. The guys are out with me. We golf up to 3 times a day using foam golf balls. Please take a look at some of our other videos about our slightly eccentric golf game. We have a lot of fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread the word, spread the gospel of slightly eccentric golf, and hopefully this will lighten up your membership and your community so you can do the same thing. See you later. Bye-bye. Take care.